What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Some brand new cards were recently revealed for the Japanese Starbirth set, which will make up the North American Brilliant Stars set. These new cards include a newly revealed V-Star Pokemon as well. So I'm very excited to take a very early first look at these new strong cards. Before we do that, shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and be sure to use code CELIO for 5% off over there. CardTrooperGames.com has booster boxes like Evolving Skies in stock, and they have pre-orders for Fusion Strike booster boxes, all under MSRP, and you can use code CELIO for 5% off over there. Lastly, I list all of my standard format decks at PokemonCard.io, so be sure to check that and the other links in the description out down below. Subscribe to the channel for daily Pokemon TCG content, and leave a like if you enjoy this video. Now let's check out these newly revealed cards from Japan, which will be part of our February set, right before we get back to major events. So very exciting. Something that is very cool, they note here, as we can see on Charizard, yes, Charizard is another V-Star Pokemon coming out alongside of Arceus V-Star. Pokemon V-Star can also have attacks as their once per game V-Star power. Its GX attacks all over again. Arceus V-Star featured an ability, so the mechanic is not just limited to attacks. It's broader than the GX mechanic, and I think this is wonderful. The GX mechanic was one of the best things I think they have ever designed, because that once per game choice adds such variety to games, and it adds such skill to games, deciding when to use that one GX power and which one to use if you have multiple in your deck. So I'm very excited for this, and let's take a look. Charizard V from this set. Now do note that we have other Charizard Vs as well. This does burn to nothing for 3 energy, 90 damage. Before doing damage, discard any Pokemon tools attached to your opponent's active, and then Heat Blast 180. So nothing too crazy there. And then here we have the Charizard V-Star, ladies and gentlemen, and Pokemon lovers of all ages. Charizard V-Star. This looks beautiful. So 280 HP fire type, of course, V-Star. V-Stars are only giving up 2 prize cards, which I think is really great. Exploding fire for fire colorless does 130, and if this Pokemon has any damage on it, it does 230 instead. Quite strong. And Star Blaze, you can only use 1 V-Star power in a game, and it is this attack for Charizard. It does 320 for 4 energy and discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. So very strong. Can tango with VMAX Pokemon and V Pokemon alike in this kind of in-between 2 prizer. It is very strong. I think this is a great benchmark of how the more aggressive V-Star Pokemon will be powered, because I do think that Arceus V-Star was kind of more middle ground with a utility ability, and then an attack that's kind of strong but also accelerates energy, whereas Charizard V-Star looks like he's going to be all out brute strength. So the card is beautiful. I think the attacks are aptly designed to combat VMAX Pokemon in a fair way, and also V Pokemon in a fair way, since this does have to evolve from a V Pokemon. And this once per turn attack is extremely strong. I'm sorry, once per game attack is extremely strong, but it is just a once per game V-Star power activation. So I do think this power level is kind of what I wanted to see, and 2 prize Pokemon are what I wanted to see design wise. Game wise, I definitely think this could be played, doing 230 damage for 3 energy. Just all you need is some damage on this Pokemon, and then 320 for 4 energy. And I have already taken a glance at some of the cards, and we do have fire energy acceleration in this set. So let's continue looking. But Charizard V-Star, beautiful card, and I think it looks quite powerful. Of course, we don't know the rest of this set yet. RCSV and RCSV Star we have already seen and talked about in a previous video, but just a brief recap. RCSV Star, 280 HP colorless type of VMAX Pokemon. Trinity Nova does 200 for 3 colorless, and you could search your deck for 3 basic energy and attach them to your V Pokemon in any way you like. And its V-Star power is once per game you can activate this, and it's an ability. Search your deck for 2 cards and put them into your hand. We've got a new Moltres that has 120 HP and its fire type, and detonating wings, 20 damage. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 70 more, and this damage is not affected by weakness. This reminds me heavily of Zapdos from Team Up. Right now, I'd say this card's very weak, but we could get to a point where the power level is decent for a single prize Pokemon to do 90, but I do think that's quite weak by today's standards. Next, we have a supporter Pokemon called Sharon's Care. Choose one of your colorless Pokemon with any damage counters on it. Put that Pokemon and all of the cards attached to it into your hand. So that is an Acerola for those of you who are around for the Sun and Moon early sets. This is an Acerola, but just for colorless Pokemon. So pick up one of your damaged colorless Pokemon and all cards attached to it. It could be an Arceus V-Star with all of its energies, maybe even tool cards. This is really cool. This is awesome. It's another healing card in addition to Cheryl, but specifically only for colorless Pokemon. So it could be used with that Arceus V-Star. It could be used with Snorlax VMAX, with Togekiss VMAX, a couple of colorless Pokemon that come to mind. So this definitely has potential for sure. Next, we have Kindler, which is a supporter card. You must discard a fire energy from your hand to play this card. Look at the top 7 cards and grab 2 of them, shuffle the other ones. Okay, decent enough card. Research would dump your hand, draw 7. This dumps 1 card and gets 2 out of the top 7, but you get to keep whatever else was in your hand. So it depends if you have a deck with fire energy in it that wants to build a hand over multiple turns, then that Kindler supporter could be strong. Next, we have a Stadium card and a little bit of a spoiler of what's coming next down here. The card that looks like double colorless energy. We've got Magma Basin here for a Fire Stadium. Once during each player's turn, that player may attach 1 fire energy from their discard pile to one of their benched fire Pokemon. If they do, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. This is really interesting. It's not excessive like Welder. It's only once a turn, and stadiums, you can't play this stadium and then play down another one of the stadiums. Stadiums are a once a turn card, and you can't replace it with the same one, so it would be hard to get the effect of multiple. You could always bump on a Pumpkaboo, then play it down again, but for the most part, this is going to be kind of locked at a once a turn thing. It can only go from discard to benched fire Pokemon, so that's nice that it is locked to fire Pokemon. But I do think this is very strong. I see no reason why this couldn't be part of a high tier deck, maybe with that Charizard V-Star, maybe with other Pokemon, but even doing the damage can sometimes be good for you, but if you use it too many times, it's going to make your opponent's knockouts easier for them to reach. So I really am a fan of this card. If they were going to do fire energy acceleration, I think it's a good design, but in terms of power for the game, I definitely think this could be played in a future fire-based archetype. So so far we've looked at, if we count Charizard V as just 1 card with V-Star, that's 1, not counting Arceus, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 cards, I'd say, because I'm not sold on this Moltres that I think could be playable. So lots of playable cards being revealed here. And honestly, cards that could end up being iconic of the format and possibly at the head of the format. And next we have here Double Turbo Energy. It provides double colorless, but the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 20 less damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Okay. Very, very cool. So it's like double colorless energy. There's no restrictions on where it can be attached to. It always provides two colorless energy. There's no stipulations on that. But the Pokemon it's attached to does 20 less damage. So uh it depends on how big of a deterrent 20 less damage is. I feel like 20 is not that big of a deal, so this could definitely open up some attackers we were not thinking about earlier, or it could even enhance some other attackers, and it could be useful for some new Pokemon as well. I mean, Arceus V-Star could surely use it. A double, what's it called? Double turbo energy plus a basic energy, and then Trinity Nova's doing 180. Search your deck for 3 basic energy. That seems fine to me. To do that for just 180 instead of 200. A lot of times that 180 to 200 isn't going to be the difference of a knockout, especially on the stronger Pokemon. So, double turbo energy definitely looks like a card that will see a lot of play, in my opinion. I would not be surprised to see this included in many decks for the next couple of years to come. Seems very, very strong, and like it will probably be a main part of our standard format. Something to always keep in mind. So Starbirth, which is coming out in Japan later this year, I believe. Let's see. No, January 14th, so very early 2022, and will be part of our Brilliant Star set in February, looking to bring some cards that are going to be very important for the standard format and very important for formats to come. So, a very powerful set with a new mechanic that I'm very excited about. Like, I wish V Stars were around since the beginning of Sword and Shield. I think they're doing an amazing job with the card design, but also these are cards that I'm excited to be brewing decks with and getting my hands on for when major events return next year. So, very exciting stuff. Awesome cards. Aside from the beautiful art of Charizard V-Star, it seems quite playable, and everything here about the Moltres looks like playable right off the bat. So let me know what you think about these cards, whether it's in terms of the design, the power level, or how good you think they will be in standard or possibly even expanded format. I typically don't talk about expanded format when I look at these cards, but right off the bat, Magma Basin plus Welder and Expanded definitely seems like maybe it could be an issue for very rapidly accelerating fire energy, but I'm excited about these cards that are coming out early next year, and let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.